Rites of Passage is something on your heart and your mind right now. Tell us about the course that you've got coming up.
Well, I built the adolescence course around it. It's one of the first courses I actually created. And because this is always on the mind of developmentalists, is
Mm.
how do you cook an adult? Like how do you turn a child into an adult? What part does nature play? What part does culture play? It was a great exercise of putting 7 rites of passage together. What happens, what the temptation of the teen is, to escape this is, which blocks their own maturity. And I present it like really midlife is really about a second visit to adolescence if we haven't gone through that, if we haven't gone through that process,
Yeah.
when we know that it's not all about us, and then in midlife we have to go through that again, the main rite of passage in terms of you could see in adolescence is
Yeah.
that as you can see everything around it, they can't hold on to their childhood. They can't hold on to being small and cuddly and sweet, and
Yeah.
they can't. And there is a loss of so many things that they can't do anything, and they get this sniff of mortality in the air, and then they want to run away from this. It's the 7 rights. It's one of them is the imaginary audience syndrome, where you think that when you first become the object of your own consciousness, you think that everybody's looking at you,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
oh my goodness, is that painful when you think that everybody's eyes are on you, and so on. But there's things that developmentally you go through, and how you resolve those is
Mm.
very, very important. In some of the indigenous rites of passage, they had near-death experiences to be able to accentuate it, with a safety net, but they still were near-death experiences. Like in the
Mm.
Mayan, they had to climb high trees and separated from each other and stay overnight. They weren't allowed to climb down, and so they have to fight their impulses to do this because gravity will kill them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and and so very interesting, this near death experiences, with a safety net there. They've been
It's
carefully primed for this experience, but nevertheless it's one of knowing that to nod means death, you know
right. Well, this is contrast. I think this is the law of contrast, because how would we know warm without cold? How would we know
yes.
joy without sadness? Like, how would we know
Oh,
these things?
absolutely.